Hey guys, welcome back to the Broussard Homestead kitchen. Brett and Abby here. Abby's going to make her favorite holiday dessert recipe. And this is for the collaboration that Family Homestead did, or they started. And she's going to make apple bread.
I've made this recipe a lot of times. I've made mistakes in the past, but I've learned exactly what to do and what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And today I'm going to show you what works for me and how I make apple bread. I've got two mixing bowls here because we need to mix our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. So we're going to start by mixing our wet ingredients first. We've got 2 cups of sugar, a cup of oil, a teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs. We're just gonna mix all that together. After you've mixed your wet ingredients, you're gonna go ahead and mix in your dry ingredients. I've got 3 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. You don't have to mix in the dry ingredients as good as you mix in the wet ingredients. Now you're just going to slowly mix in your dry mixture in with your wet mixture. I almost forgot, you should preheat your oven to 300 degrees. So I have my oven preheating for 300 degrees and I'm going to continue mixing in the dry ingredients in with the wet ingredients. The more you mix in your dry ingredients, the more the dough should start to get thicker. Once you're done mixing all of your dry mixture into your wet mixture, it should have a really thick consistency, just like a bread dough. It should look like that. So we're now going to mix in our apples. The recipe calls for 3 cups of apples. I use 3 store-bought Granny Smith apples because that equivalents to 3 cups. Because it's so thick, it's really hard to mix in the apples. So you have to just keep working with it to get it thoroughly mixed. This recipe makes 2 loaves of apple bread. You're going to need to grease 2 loaf pans, or bread pans, whatever you want to call it. I used butter and I just greased it thoroughly around the sides and the bottom. Now you're going to separate this into half and put half of the batter into each pan. So you want to make sure and fill your pans evenly, and you should press them down with a spatula or your hand, either way works, to make sure that they're even, because it is such a thick batter. They just stay whatever place you put them in, so you want to spread them out evenly. You're going to put these in a 300-degree oven for an hour to an hour and a half. The apple bread came out of the oven and we let it cool for about 10 minutes, and now we're going to go ahead and take it out of the pan and cut it and taste it. So we just cut a small piece off of it, and you can do this when it's still a little bit warm to serve it, but if you were going to wrap it up and give it as a gift or just eat it later, then you would need to let this cool longer and make sure it's completely cool before wrapping it.
I get a chunk of apple too.
Very good.
So we left our apples in bigger chunks. It's okay. You can cut them smaller if you want to. You can leave them bigger. Doesn't matter. Abby and I really had a blast making this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Stick around to the end. We have some bloopers that we added in. We really had a good time, and we wanted to share those fun times with you. Thanks for watching.
I thought that's what you wanted.
Well, I wanted that in the shot while you were talking
Oh.
to explain why boop, it's going.
Doesn't matter really. Okay. You better take that out. I'm so done. I'm going to get an apron.
They're not in the shot.